We're all good.
Boom. There we go. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Hello.
Thanks for people that were waiting for us to go live then.
We had a few technical issues.
A couple of technical issues.
Mainly around me getting locked in the toilet at Paul's house yet again for like the second week in a row. And I don't know. I think he's doing it to me on purpose at this point.
It's sort of it's just what I like to offer people. It's like an escape room.
But you are getting to the point where I am just going to go through the door soon.
Imagine.
Be like, screw this. I'm
Liam's
going
round.
smash straight through the door.
Thanks for joining us for the Meta Monday show. We call this Meta Mondays now because we think it's a good opportunity to look at the lists over the weekend, talk about win rates, look at some lists, discuss the meta.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what it shows when we get the lists up in a minute, or the results, is not to jump too far ahead, but it seems to be this patch has worked.
Not jump too far ahead. It seems like we were quite stressed about Eldar last week, weren't we? But maybe not the case.
I genuinely had someone that I'm going to a team tournament with text me saying, like, am I still okay to bring Eldar? Are you going to hate me forever because I've just watched you rant about them for 40 minutes? I was like, as long as you're on my team, that's fine. I don't care.
Hello, Rob in the chat. Telly, I got your T-shirt on.
Mate, honestly, some of the best T-shirts I've ever seen.
It's fucking disgusting.
We've also got a superb new soundboard effect if we like something we see.
Oh, mate. It's so high-pitched.
It's really high-pitched in these headphones, isn't it? It's your brain.
The weirdest thing is, like, Paul was setting it up and I looked over, and if you've seen the original video... Yeah, there's a lot wrong with that original video that I'm not going to go into.
Your eyebrows, you were like, what are you doing to this
And
show?
for me to raise my eyebrows on something is pretty spectacular because I've seen a lot of stuff in my life.
You have seen a lot of stuff, mate. You have seen a lot of stuff. So we're gonna talk about the meta. We're gonna look at some of the lists that we're gonna get up on Best Coast Pairing, and then we're gonna talk about some of this. We're gonna show you the Space Marine stuff and see what your reaction is as a Dante enthusiast.
Well, I actually haven't looked at any of it. I've had my kids this weekend, and I've had a mad day at work today. And when you mentioned it to me, I hadn't even realised it had been released.
You were like, "What are Space Marines?
What are Space Marines?
Space Marines? What are Space Marines?"
I do feel a little bit like that with my Space Marines at the moment, and just look at them all like, oh god.
You love them. All right. Well, on that note, let's jump straight into it then, shall we?
Yeah, let's do this.
Look at the list. So I'm going to jump over so people can see my screen. So this is on the old Reddit. Nice drip, lads. Thanks. I'm not sure what was nice drip. What's that mean, Rob?
Drip is clothing. It's young people
cheers.
chat for clothing.
Yeah. I knew that.
Like sweet flex you've got going on over there, Paul.
Yeah. Cheers, blood.
God, we've both been watching far too much Top Boy, haven't we?
Boy, yeah.
This is going to really descend fairly soon.
Right. So Meta Mondays, 10th Reborn. This guy's quite positive about it, sort of saying, I'm going to do the pinch of salt right at the beginning.
Yeah, do it.
This guy, first of all, support Meta Mondays. It's great, and we're clearly like just using all the data here, so thanks. He's very positive about it, like, yes, balance has been achieved. This all looks really good. The data sample's not amazing.
I would say that the biggest thing to take away from, well, two points to take away from this. Positive, looks really good. Loads of armies we haven't seen performing well.
Yeah.
Negative, the most popular tournament or the most attended tournament was in Australia and had 89 players.
RatCon.
Yeah, and I think you said you looked at the missions.
Use custom missions.
And it was all over the place, apparently.
Yeah, it's a little bit fruity. So I would suggest this as a data set is completely ignored.
So basically what we've said is we're going to look at the meta, we're going to take the largest proportion of data we have
and delete it
and ignore it.
I'm worried.
Mate, I'm more than worried sat here with something not to talk about now.
No, there's loads. There are a bunch of events. And there are some interesting things to look at, but just right from the off, I would ignore that and not include it in the results. This guy posted it this morning and didn't realise that this was like a funky tournament. So he wrote all this being like, oh, wow, yeah, no, it looks really balanced. But then people were like, oh, mate, that tournament, scrap that. So he has adjusted the percentages at the bottom.
Yeah. And I think it's even worth saying, when you look at it, the results aren't that wildly different from some of the tournaments that we see lower down anyway, apart from Jakari, which, again, he must have just played into 5 custom missions that really suited his army list, I guess.
Yeah. Hey to the chat. Hey, people joining the chat. Appreciate you. Luke saying, why is CSM on there 3 times? Oh, that's just a tournament, Luke. Is that what you mean? Why is Care Space Marine on there 3 times?
No, so what they're saying, Luke, is that out of all of there was 3 Chaos Space Marine players in the top 16. So there was, I mean, I can see 2 Eldari players in there.
Yeah, that's just one event.
It's just one event. So yeah, there was just multiple Chaos Space Marine players that did well at that event.
We're going to look at some of these lists in detail, but let's jump down to the grand reveal. So takeaways. Eldar at 57% is a beautiful thing. Hopefully they stay there or go lower. For the first time this edition, they were not the most played faction and fell to second place. Winning a small GT, but still having 11 of their 38 players, 29% going X and O, X and 1. I wonder if part of their fall is because some top players thought they could win GTs with other factions and now have moved on.
Well, I think you're always going to get that with meta chasers, aren't you? You're always going to get people that are chasing that one thing that they're going to turn up to an event with and curb stomp their way up to 4-0 and then suddenly have a difficult match on the top table, essentially.
What's that like, Rob?
No,
why did you? No. Rob mixes his factions up. I'm just joking.
But no, I think that one to look at as well, just jumping down a little bit, is Rob, you've been saying that Votan aren't viable. They won an event this week, Rob. Come on.
We're going to look at the list.
We are going to look at that list, and we need your opinions on it, definitely.
The Banished Cup is one we'll have a look at. Oh, hello.
But yeah, I think a good takeaway from this is when you look through a lot of these, there's a lot of armies on there that before, and I don't know if it is other armies are performing well and Eldar are performing weaker, was probably the wrong word, but do you know what I mean? You're not already taking the top 5 places at any tournament and just putting Eldari in there.
Yeah.
And it gives other people just a chance to at least get into those slots.
Yeah.
So it's probably not that they're performing miles better, it's just Eldari are performing worse.
Yeah. Dakari came up on one event, but then do take that with a pinch of salt because that was the wacky.
Yeah, the wacky event, and they've still only got a 47% win rate. But from my understanding, Games Workshop wants everyone to be between 45 and 55% win rate. If the whole meta is within those boundaries, I think that's as balanced as this game is going to get.
Yeah.
You think how many factions we've got in this game? To get them in there anywhere is... To get them all vaguely balanced is a very difficult thing.
Yeah, I agree. World Eaters did all right. I'll just read some from the chat. There's a pinch of salt with these results as the top 100 players in the UK didn't... What can I say? I can't see that word. Oh, didn't play half them. Were at Charity Hammer and the UK prepping for LGT. Yeah, good point. I think the UK event was just...
I think the UK event had 18 players. So a 5-round 18-player event. I think you've played everyone at that point, haven't you? Like, surely you've just played everyone. Just a winner takes all sort of thing. Yeah, no, definitely. That's why we prefaced this at the beginning by saying, do take these with a pinch of salt because the sample size isn't absolutely enormous. I definitely think there's some things to chat about and look at, but on the whole, probably needs another couple of... Well, certainly that LGT, the UK one, needs a little bit more time. I think there's 2 armies that we should definitely talk about. One's Custodes, and the fact they've gone from probably 3rd or 4th best army in the game to suddenly having a win rate of 38% in one weekend. Yeah, that's not good. Which is very, very strange. And again, sample size. And I think Necrons as well, which I think a lot of people, like we were discussing this before we came on, a lot of people have jumped on Necrons because there's a build involving 40 to 60 Necron warriors that went down in points, supported by a load of characters that is essentially you park it on 3 objectives and just score primary. Yeah. And people can't remove it. But it's saying it's the most played faction, but yet they're like, what was it? The 2nd lowest performing win percentage or something. Pour one out for Custodes. Yeah. They've had plenty of fun, yeah. Pour one out. Mate, screw Custodes. The amount of times I've lost to Custodes is not fun. So no, I'm not pouring one out for Custodes. Yeah, bless them. Sisters, best army in the game. Okay, I don't really think that seeing the 5 players out there doing work is nice, and having 3 of them in place X and 1 is how you get a 64% win rate. What's your take on Sisters, Rob? Rob's quite down on Sisters, isn't he? I've got 2 friends that play Sisters, Rob and another fella called Adam, and both of them are not happy with where Sisters sit at the moment. they're both saying, not to put words in Rob's mouth, but I think they're both saying that they are one of probably 3 of the weakest armies in the game.
Yeah.
Along with Admech and whoever else you want to put in that bottom slot. Blood Angels. Turns out I'm now collecting 2 of the worst armies in the game at the moment. Just pick the worst armies, start collecting them, see what happens. Cause my anxiety even more issues.
Just really pile the pressure on.
Yeah.
We can try. Have you got Bluetooth on your phone? We can try and get Rob on while I go through a list up. If you turn your Bluetooth on and connect to the Roadcaster, then technically it should work. So let's have a look at some of these lists as the Iberian Open.
I love the fact you've asked me to do something technical as well.
Yeah, mate, well,
you watched me while I was trying to do the production the other week, and it was like, honestly, watching a blind man, I don't know, horse racing or something. It wasn't great, was it?
I'm worried.
Yeah, I'd be worried at this moment in time.
The Iberian Open. So this was an event that in Spain, 40 players, 5 rounds. There we go. We connected to Roadcaster. Tau smashed it. Which, I mean, it's no surprise to see Tau doing well with the ridiculous,
unbelievable points drops,
like
and
absolutely loads.
What they can then put out in, shooting. So even before you bought the list up, I was like, crisis suits. It'll just be loads of crisis suits.
Yeah.
And I think he's got 1 massive blob of crisis and 2 smaller blobs of crisis suits. I think was what it was, isn't it?
Yeah, I get it up.
So he's got the Commander, obviously, in the Cold Star. And it's these cyclic ion blasters that are apparently the things that do work.
You just burp in my face, by the way. What was that you just did?
I moved away from the microphone to burp. I've had fizzy, haven't I? I shouldn't have got pop.
Just laid over. Well, sorry about that, Steve.
And then, yeah, so from my understanding, it's Commanders, and then it's
Look at all these
broadsides, and then it's just crisis battle suits. So 6, another blob, and it's all these cyclic ion blasters. Get to turn 3, 200 and something shots.
Yeah.
Ridiculous strength, -2 AP, 2 damage each. Just roll those hazardous dice as well for the laughs and just see what happens, I think.
Yeah, it's wild.
And you can see that with the points drop, they all went down in points as well.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Which was the crazy thing.
Rob, if you ring Liam now, mate, I'll get you on standby, and you'll be through to our production reception team. Just give him a ring. I reckon this will work.
G on standby downstairs too.
G's on standby downstairs. Yeah, we do have a full
time.
Yeah.
We are that podcast.
We're going up. We're going up in the world. No surprise that Tau did okay on that one. The other one was Imperial Knights list, which isn't particularly groundbreaking.
Has it got knights in it?
It's got a lot of knights. Yeah,
it's got big robots in it,
and a Crusader, and then just like what do you expect? 4 Helverins, 3 Warglaves. I mean,
I think that was literally. Oh no, it's got Canis Rex in it as well. To be fair. Canis Rex, Crusader, and then that was pretty much my 9th list. Yeah, that's what I ran for 9th. Was 2 big, 7 small.
Yeah,
go for it. Like that is what it is, isn't it? Avenger Gatling cannon. Yeah,
I don't get to live that luxury because I have a Castellan, so I don't quite get the number of.
You need to look at the smaller ones. To be fair,
I do, but there we go. There we go.
What do I do? Answer it.
Look at this. Here we go, lads. We'll move into Roadcaster. Look at this. Welcome to the show, Rob. Rob?
Technical difficulties.
Rob, best thing to do there is ring up the show and then just hang up, mate. That's
that's one way of doing it.
That's one way to do it.
Panic!
No, he's just trying to embarrass us. Space Wolves, here we go. You want to see Space
I wanted
Wolves
to see this Space Wolf list because I've got a feeling I haven't seen this. Before I look at it, I'm betting Thunderwolf Cavalry.
I'm getting the word
Thunderwolf Cavalry. Is there any Thunderwolf Cavalry in it?
Nope.
There's no Thunderwolf. What? There's no. How can there be no Thunderwolf Cavalry in there?
That was an awful guess.
Mate, 30 points a model for Thunderwolf Cavalry.
They've got the biologists.
Yeah, because you put the biologists with the. I bet he's got aggressors. I bet he's got a unit of 6 aggressors.
He's got aggressors. Yeah.
There you go. It's a unit of 6 aggressors.
Just to fucking
shout out to Matt that was on the stream last week for metaing that before it actually became a thing as well.
Well done, Matt. Ahead of the trend.
Mate, massively. Apart from with his Outriders, where he was massively behind the trend because he was cheating.
Yeah, well, that's one way to...
It's one way to look at it, isn't it?
I can't believe Rob just prank calls. First time we try and call someone in.
Oh, we go.
Hello.
Again.
Here he comes. Don't hang up. Don't you hang up. Hello, welcome to the show.
Rob,
use your...
Rob, use your words. Oh, wait, I can hear him.
Rob?
I don't think it's working.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Rob.
Welcome to the show, Rob. How are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, we're all right.
Good.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for calling in. Welcome.
Hello.
By the way, did you get to hear this sound effect?
I'm worried.
Do you like that?
Can you hear?
Now he's just muted himself. Oh my God, Rob, you're the worst caller we've ever had into the show. You're the first and worst caller.
Do you know when you? Oh wait, he's back.
Rob, welcome.
I'm having technical issues with a headset. It's my end. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's not on our end, mate. This is very advanced.
We are literally the most professional setup you've ever seen in your lives. If you could see this room now,
mate.
To be fair, neither of us are wearing trousers, so it's amazing.
This explains a great deal.
As I said that, I'm just edging closer to Paul as well.
I'm worried.
Yeah.
Rob, just stay on the line, mate. I'm going to mute you for a second, but don't go anywhere. Just go answer Luke's question and come back. We want to look at this vote on list with you, so please, Rob, stay on the line. Thanks for calling. Right, Luke, what's the combo with the aggressors, with the biologists?
So I believe it gives them lethal hits. So it was lethal hits into... Matt's just texted me as well, actually, on WhatsApp, saying thanks for the shout out.
Hey.
So it was lethal hits into with Oath of Moment and just the amount of shots they put out. And then you put Bolt of Discipline on him as well for exploding fives. So he had lethal hits into exploding fives as well. And it was just literally like an auto delete of stuff.
There we go.
Sorry, that hasn't been the clearest thing I've ever said in my life, but it's probably clearer than a lot of my life. So the Apothecary, no, that's the Primaris one. It's the other one, the Biologist.
We're getting to him.
Yes.
Boom.
So he gives you lethal hits. Then you combine him, you put Bolt of Discipline on him, and then put yourself in the Devastator Doctrine. So he's got exploding fives, which are then lethal hits, so they then auto wound and explode.
Oh, Matt's actually in the chat. Apothecary Biologist with Bolt of Discipline gives them lethal and sustained hits. Storm of Firestrike gives them critical hits on fives, and AP2, they have millions of shots.
Yeah.
Seems...
Exactly what I was trying to say, but Matt did it way more concisely than I did.
Matt, come on the show next time.
Yeah, Matt, I've been sacked and you're on, mate.
We're just holding Rob hostage. Rob, you still there? Still with us, Rob?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You're doing. Stay there, mate. We're about to look at this other
we will look at this vote list with you.
Thanks for calling. Stay on the line.
Mate, what is with you in this soundboard tonight? It's like we've both had a drink before we came on, but we actually haven't. That's the worst thing about it.
I want to have a look at this vote list with Rob and see what he thinks.
It was the Spanish one.
The Banished. It was the Banished.
Oh, France, sorry.
The Banished Cup. Rob, you're not too keen. You're not too happy with Votan at the moment, are you, mate?
I think they're in a better place than they were. That's for sure. You know, they've been given quite a boost in points. Obviously, not as much as some of the others, and now they have a detachment rule where basically you can put half of the army with judgment tokens. You know, pick your enemy's 4 best units.
Yeah,
which is actually really good. I think it's early days. This thing.
How do you think they'll do on the whole? Like, how do you think they'll shape up to the rest of the map?
I think, as I say, it's early days. I think once because people don't have a lot of Votan, not many people have played against them. So rather than it being, you know, I know exactly what you do. The first couple of games you play against the Votan, they're going to be completely lost. I'll know exactly what's going on. But, you know, after you've played them 2 or 3 times, you'll know, right, I know I need to deal with these Terminators. I know I need to deal with the bikes, and I'll be good.
Yeah, I think your point there is exactly right. Is Votan seem to be one of those armies that you don't come up against a lot. So you don't actually, and I'd throw maybe Admech into that list, and there's a couple of others that you don't see a lot on the tabletop.
I can't even find them. They've vanished. They're
not
from
even
history.
They're not even on Best Coast pairings at the moment, Rob. That's how popular they've got, mate.
Leagues. Found them.
Where was it?
So maybe not all the events actually go on.
Yeah, they don't do some of them on Best Coast pairings, unfortunately.
So I think, unfortunately, this might be one that...
So what we're going to do instead of that is we're going to get Rob to talk through what he thinks the list would have been that went 5-0 then for Votan. Go on, Rob.
What are you rocking in a Votan
What would
list?
the list that went 5-0 be, Rob, then, for Votan?
So I mean, every single Votan list is going to start with between 25 and 30 of the Hearth Guard or the Terminators. To those of you, they're the only unit in the army at ballistic skill 3, which goes to 2 if you have judgment tokens.
Yeah. Are they the bigger boys with the big guns?
Yeah, and the massive shoulder pads.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then you're probably going to see a mixture of the rest of the units, because there is only 4 units in the Codex. Right, you've got the Bikers, which you'll see from mission play.
Yeah.
You'll probably see Sagittarius, which are like their version of the Rhino, dropping out troops all over the place. And then they've got some like kind of walking heavy assault troops. And they've got like the Ripley alien theme, like tech suit that go with them. So I'd say, a couple of units of those, a couple of bikes, that kind of thing.
Do you think the Land Fortress is viable at all? Is that in lists at the moment? What's that putting out? Because I know the problem was it had the heavy Magna rail rifle, didn't it? But had one shot hitting on 4s or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue. And look at the meta right now. Everyone is playing tanks. Yeah. So they're all going to be bringing anti-tank, and you're bringing a single tank at 245 points. So it's not like a Land Raider that you just rush in and drop troops out, because it doesn't have assault ramp. And we don't really have great assault units. So you're going to be going one Land Fort, probably gets picked up turn 1 or 2, doesn't really add a lot to the game. Yeah. Whereas you can spend the same points cost 3 Sagittarius or Rhinos, and they've got almost the same guns.
Yeah, true. And I think this is the thing, is when you're looking at it from the way that someone like Rob plays the game, is that you're looking at what each unit can do in terms of what its points value is, and can it earn those points back in a trade. And I think that's what you're saying, Rob, isn't it? That Land Fortress it's very rarely going to earn its points back for what it actually does.
Yeah. So unless you get lucky in 2-shot a night, and it will take you 2 turns to do it because it's got 1 shot. Yeah. It's not going to do it. I've actually been able to find the list on the Votan competitive thread. Yeah. So it's got 2 units of the Thunderkin, which are the big Ripley guys walking. It's got 2 Sagittarius, 2 units of bikes, 1 of 6, 1 of 3. And then it's got, as I suggested, 30 Terminators and just characters to assault.
It must be like, it's weird, isn't it? Trying to put a list together for an army that only has 4 units in it. And I seem to remember this in 9th. I looked at Harlequins for a bit. And I know Harlequins had a very broken build for a while, didn't they? But they were another army that you almost struggled to fill your list, because it was just, there's not a lot of models. There's not a lot of variation in what all of those models actually do as well.
Yeah, it's wild there's only 4. So you seem to feel like... Go on, Rob. No, go on, mate. Go on.
I was going to say, it is, you pick the best one and span 3 of it. Yeah. And then you kind of stuck at that point where I'm running at least 1 of each of these, probably 2 of each of these.
Just to make the points up at that point, though, aren't you? This is the problem. You're putting stuff in your list that's maybe not viable because you just need it for the points, no?
Fortunately, most of the units are viable to do something. You know, troops hold a point. Bikes are move around 12 with a scout inch of 9, so they can do your mission play. Yeah. Terminators are Terminators. They're always useful.
Just a couple of...
I think one...
No, go on, Rob, go on.
I think the one unit that you're not seeing is the Berserks, because melee is just 10th.
Oh, is that the boys with no shirts, the no shirt lads?
These boys.
The problem is they're epic models as well, though, aren't they? Look at those models.
The models are great. Rob, I'm just going to read out some stuff for the chat. Just stay with us on the line. So, Brother Calvin, I need to work out my apothecary biologist in my Black Templars. Get him in there, lad. It's a good model. It's a good model. Good rules.
And Black Templars at the moment have had a massive glow up. With the drop off of Death Watch, Black Templars, I would personally say, are probably the strongest Space Marine chapter at the moment because of the access to the Feel No Pain that they've got.
Matt says Thunder can look decent too. The gun profile is good into infantry and vehicles with the Grav.
What would you say to that, Rob, about what Matt said in the chat?
Agree. Like, you've got 2 profiles. You can do one with the lasers for anti-infantry. Yeah. Like, if you're over range 12, you get a nice load of sustained hits. Or their anti-tank is anti-tank 2+ grav weapons, which is pretty good.
Well, in this meta as well, isn't it, with tanks at the moment?
Yes. What I would be careful of is monsters, because they're suddenly just strength 5 heavy weapons against monsters because it's not anti-monster.
Rob's just off Votan. Telly's asking in the chat: is the new Knight Lancer any good? What do you reckon to that, Rob? What's your take on the Knight Lancer?
Is this the one that came out this weekend?
Yeah.
Is it?
The
boy with the shield,
It
isn't
was
it?
a Forge World model, yeah. But yeah.
I mean, any plastic knight is good, right?
100%.
All the big lads.
I haven't looked at the stats, so I don't want to say yes or no. I'm quite happy to do so when I finish getting the call. Go and have a quick look. But
Rob, that's your homework, please. You've got
yes
about 30 minutes to complete it. If you could.
Well, me and Paul talk some
absolute.
absolute. Well, we flannel it out till we get a result on the night.
Let's argue with Rob for a bit first. So, Rob, last week when me and Liam did the show, we looked at the balance changes, and I think we maybe spoke about this in a chat. I can't remember. And we were quite worried that they've not gone far enough.
I'm worried.
With Eldar, and that they're still going to remain an issue. What's your take after seeing the results of the first week and just like reading through the list? How do you think Eldar are going to match up in the meta?
So still above 60% army, and still probably the best army in the game. What you've had this week is a lot of people who haven't partaken. And when you look at Charity Hammer, which had, the best 32 players in the USA, it was won by an Eldar, and they stomped both the semi-final and the final to the point that they weren't games, which gives you an idea, I think.
Who were they? What were the armies they were playing against? Do you know?
So I know his run-up, he played Orcs in the quarterfinals and then 2 lots of Nids in the semi-finals and the finals.
And then just curb stomped them all?
Yeah. So now this is Ben. Do you reckon he's the best player in the world right now? Best army in the world.
So you got the best army played by the best player.
Should do all right.
Yeah, he should be all right.
He's still at the point where you have to change the army. He was running both of the big, what they call it, the Incarn and the
Wraith Knight.
No, not the Wraith Knight, the other character.
Oh, you're not the Incarn and the.
Oh, not the Avatar.
The Avatar?
Avatar of Cain, yes, exactly.
2 points for me.
Well, didn't the Incarn go up like about 30 or 40 points or something? It went up a lot, didn't it? And people are still putting it in. And why is it that good though, Rob? Is it to do with the movement shenanigans it's got?
So they put it with this other model spinner, right? Which is indirect, which you can't really complain about. You get 2 of them. They put out about 10 to 15 shots with devastating wounds.
Yeah.
You put them into your character at the back, wherever it might be, and then let's say you're running 5 incursion marines near your desolation squad. Take your army as it is now. They kill that with those 2 units. The Incarn pops up there, shoots you, and then charges you.
Oh yeah, because it teleports to where something dies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now.
So if you have any separate models in the board, remember these are 48-inch range indirect weapons.
Yeah.
With devastating wounds. They will just pick up that unit and then set themselves up for the charge with arguably one of the better melee models in the game. They will put -1 to wound on this toughness 12 model, so you're at best wounding it on 5s or 6s.
Jesus.
With a 4-up-in run that halves damage, and it's in your backline turn 1 before you win.
And then literally you've got a model sat in your deployment zone that you've got to try and deal with somehow as well.
Yeah.
If you mess up in any way, it teleports away and then does it again the next turn.
Oh my God. There it was. I saw a purpley cloud. I know that's the that's the part of the model. So we've got LGT in a couple of weeks, haven't we, Rob? I think there's a load of us going up there. What do you think that these top tables will still be dominated by Eldar? And if so, what else do you think will be floating around the top? Orcs, Chaos Space Marines, Necrons?
So fortunately, the current meta is at a point where you can still play any army and win.
Yeah.
Okay, it's down to player skill. Fortunately, it's not just pick up a Wraith Knight and stomp. So you're gonna be looking at what we call faction specialists. So let's take, for example, Vic VJ, who's been playing T-Suns. he's going to do well with his T-Sons.
Yeah.
We know that Anthony Vallejo is coming over with World Eaters. Now, they're probably not in a good spot, but he's a specialist who's played 100 games. He's the best World Eater player in the world. He's going to do well with them.
Well, I think that's quite a good point, though, because you said you don't think World Eaters are in a great spot, yet when you look at the results, and I know the results from this weekend are a bit skewed, they were the second best performing army, I think.
Yeah, World Eaters doing
had a 63% win rate this weekend.
Yeah,
so it's all over the place at the moment.
It was only 7 players, but
that's still a glow up, though.
Players, is that, like we saw with the sisters, 3 really good players and a couple of bad players? That's not enough information to say for sure.
Yeah,
but I think 1 or 2 good World Eater players make a faction good, and when you go to an LGT, you're going to play 7 rounds. You might not end up playing anyone good, and I say of equal skill level to these players until round 4 or 5.
Well, yeah, that's isn't it? You get to that point where you're playing a strong army, and the first 3 rounds are essentially just walkovers for you to then start getting into the actual games that you should be playing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The one that Rob, what do you make of Necrons? Because a lot of people seem worried about them off the back of the balance slate. They kind of maybe gone under the radar a little bit, but this first set of results this week aren't amazing. Like 44% win rate is pretty awful, even though it's, again, small sample size, but still.
Necrons are an army that relies on toughness and positioning, which means if you don't understand quite the positioning, your Necron warrior blocks get picked up and you lose the game. A lot of people are going to be specking it into the fact, can I pick up a unit of 20 Necron warriors in a single turn? Because that's the cut-off of the meta, I would say right now. A good Necron player will know when to use their strategy to revive, when to use their Feel No Pain correctly, when to know how to use the revive on the hero. And you can do that in such a way that I use this piece of terrain. I know you're only going to get 1 unit shooting at me there, so I can then wait for you to do that there, and then I'll revive afterwards, limiting again your movement so that you can only shoot me with this 1 unit, and then I still hold the point. Whereas, me or you not played Necrons, we've put our guys on the middle and go, right, I've got all of this stuff.
I think this is the point I made to Paul before we came on, is I think a lot of people have watched a lot of videos, a lot of these Art of War type characters going, Necrons are going to be the next big thing. And people have gone, I'm going to go and get Necrons, and I'm going to go and get 40 to 60 Necron warriors and bang them on objectives. And this is the problem, is people are chasing lists that top players are playing and are not actually learning the nuances of playing that list or playing that army and understanding how you've got to play that army.
The problem with those people is
we're just normal men.
We are just normal men.
Yeah.
What do you mean, normal men?
it's just normal men. It's just normal men trying to be not normal men and try to
I think
big brain.
This goes on to no spoiler alerts here. But next week,
don't do a spoiler alert for God's sake.
Sorry, mate.
Joking.
Next week, me and Paul are going to have a discussion around mental health in this game as well. And what we
I'm worried.
Yeah, we might have to take some Xanax next week and see where this goes. But I think so. What we're going to do?
That's not the answer.
That's not the answer to mental health. No, Xanax. Oh, that's shit. Not the answer. So what we're going to say is, obviously, anyone that's got any stories, anything they're happy for us to share on stream, please drop us a message. Obviously, it's all anonymous if you want it to be anonymous.
We're going to talk about the good and the bad, aren't we? We're going to talk about how 40k wargaming can be really good for your mental health and like a really positive thing, but also like what the line is and where it can stretch into the other side and how you keep a good balance.
Yeah,
so we want stories, good and bad, how it's helped, how it's hindered, and what relationship you've got with it.
Yeah.
We'll still look at the
went
results.
well off piece there, didn't I? But I thought I'd at least give them a little tickle of what's on next week.
You can piece around. Rob, any before we're going to look at the Space Marine stuff and bits and bobs, but any kind of closing thoughts on the meta at the moment or some of the first set of results that we've looked at today before we let you go?
I'm happy with where we're at right now. As I say, it would be nice if Eldar got tweaked a bit. And then I have looked at the Lancer at 465 points. I do like it. I think if you, I don't know, do Imperial Knights have a way of ignoring cover?
No, because they had towering essentially, didn't they?
Well, they can go over terrain if it's under 4 inches.
So, I mean, it's going to struggle with its main gun, but that tank shock at 20 with 0 tank shock strat looks fun. So I would say it's solidly in that let's have a go with it and see how it is.
It's a good model.
Have a go with it at £110 model. That's the problem, isn't it?
It's a punchy.
Yeah, but you've got other nights. Just proxy it for a few games like you should do with all models. See if you like that model before going out of it, you know.
It's just a
We're all
sweet
mates
model,
at the
though.
club.
Well.
We don't have to go and buy it straight away, get it on the table, paint it dies. Game 1, we throw it in the bin. That's no fun, right?
Don't, mate. I've done that with so many models. I've not actually thrown them in the bin, but yeah. The amount of models I've bought, played for one game, gone, that didn't work. I'll see you later, yeah.
Spend hours painting them.
Yeah.
Fucking dang crap. Rob, thanks so much for jumping on, mate, and giving us, sharing us some of your wisdom. We appreciate you loads. And anyone else in the chat, if you want to jump on and share any thoughts on the Meta Monday list or the Marine stuff that we're about to look at, you just got to call Liam. And if you haven't got Liam's number,
then who the hell are you?
Then
everyone should have my number.
What are you doing in the chat?
Yeah. No.
Then just say in the chat and we'll send you his number. Rob, take it easy, mate. We'll chat to you in the chat.
Cheers, Rob. We'll see you
Thanks
tomorrow,
for
mate.
dialing in.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's our first ever caller on the show. That's the point of this. We wanted to get it so people could just ring up and chat to us about some of the stuff. Because we don't know everything in the world, Liam. We're just a vessel.
We're just normal men.
We're just
normal men.
We are just normal.
I missed the cue.
Very normal human beings.
Just innocent men.
Definitely not innocent men, but definitely normal men.
Yeah, we're just normal. Brother Callie says Warhammer has actually helped with my mental health. We'd love to know. Join us next week for the same time. We'd love to hear how and come share that with us, mate.
Yeah, obviously, if you've got stuff that you want to share around it, but you want to stay anonymous and you just want us to share a story on it, message me or Paul privately, and obviously we keep everyone's names out of it. I'm just going to preference it with we are not in any way, shape or form doctors or mental health specialists, so please take everything we say with a pinch of salt, because there will always be a slight edge to what we say to try and make it entertaining for you guys as well.
Yeah, no, defo, we're daft lads. Hey, but if you know us and you're struggling, we're here for you.
Yeah,
that is
100%.
also true, because I know there's people in here that are our mates and stuff. We've always got your back. Let's look at this. I feel like we've talked about the meta. I feel like we've given that a breakdown. I'm looking forward to seeing it next week. I still think it's interesting that there's still that like air that Eldar are broken. There's still that like.
I think people. What's the? It's like PTSD. I know I shouldn't like say it's an act, but I think so many people have been absolutely dominated by Eldar in these first 3 weeks, and still have visions of that happening.
Still sort of twitching in a corner.
Still like,
being like,
I've got to play Eldar. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of what Eldar players are relying on still a little bit at the moment.
Yeah. Right, you ready for this? You've not seen these. I'm interested as a Space Marine player.
I don't know if I want to see this, to be honest with you.
You're going to be pumped.
Am I though? Because
no. Bye oath of moments.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, literally first paragraph.
What?
But first, look, get excited, all this stuff. But
I don't want to get excited about new stuff. What have you done to Oath of Moment?
Oath of Moment Army Rule is changing.
No.
Thank God.
Why? It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that bad.
It was absolutely stupid.
Now that they've corrected Desolation Marines, it wasn't even that bad.
Oath of Moment is completely insane.
Right, I'm out. This is ridiculous. I'm off. Very good, very nice. It's not very good and it's not very nice.
It's great news. Oath of Moment is changing. You still select one unit each turn. There you go. What are you moaning about? But
there's the but.
You only reroll hits against them instead of hits and wounds. This will mean Special Marines need to choose their target more carefully. Well
no, that's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not really that.
I've still got to pick one target, haven't I? What?
Still probably pick the target you want to kill.
Yeah,
more than anything else. Although there are now new and updated skills across the faction that bring... The good news is you've got more opportunities to reroll wounds, but they have immediately put an asterisk after that, which suggests it's quite not as simple.
Can I just make a point, right? And wasn't 10th edition supposed to be... What was their strapline? Simple,
it was,
but not... Was it simple? Or something about it being more simple, right? And having less stratagems, which... I think most people complained about in 9th was the problem with the bloat around stratagems and the fact that every book had 30 odd in.
Oh my God.
But let's just be honest with each other. The issue was that you turn up to a table, you'd play one of these armies that you don't come across that often, and all of a sudden they'd be hitting you with all these got your stratagems.
Yeah, no, it wasn't fun.
So you've got 6 detachments in NIDS now. Each one has 6 separate stratagems.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 6. Is it not 5?
No, I thought they bought 5 new ones.
Invasion, Vanguard, sign.
Oh no, it's 5. But each one's
maybe it's in Rob. Tell us.
But each one's got 6 stratagems. So we're still at 30 stratagems.
But yeah, no, you're right. But at least if you get your head round the main ones, you'll get a
No, there's no main ones though, because every detachment's different.
Yeah, I know, but some of them are gonna take prominence over others. Out there.
I mean, there's going to be that whole thing about some detachments are so bad that they're not going.
Yeah, I do get your point. I do get your point. There's still a lot of rules. However, it's definitely easier to get to a table and the person be like, "I play the Vanguard detachment." You'd be like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah, at least I immediately know the theme.
Yeah, so you're going to have some like movement shenanigan stratagems, and that's the main one. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. The scope of the level of stratagems is still quite broad.
Yeah.
I think what's happened there is you're just struggling to come to terms with the fact that this is gone.
It's not.
And you're
It
taking
wasn't
it out
even
on the
that
game,
bad.
okay?
I can
So,
understand.
I just need you to calm down.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to calm down.
I need you to loosen your shoulders. Okay?
And prepare for even more hits as they come.
It's only up from here. Okay. This is your first detachment.
Okay, great.
First company tickle force. Okay?
Yeah, basically looking at those units, I can see Vanguard vets are a waste of time. Blade Guard veterans look scarier than they actually are.
This detachment gives you a great opportunity to get the most out of the shiny new Terminators.
New Terminators are poo.
Veterans, your strong opinions are coming on fast. As well as units of Blade Guard veterans and Vanguard veterans. Blade Guard veterans, best models.
Honestly, I spent so long painting my Blade Guard veterans, and I went through a phase of putting 6 on the table every single time, and they did a grand total of absolutely nothing. I've still got 3 in my list because I like the models, but
sometimes it's about how you apply them.
Yeah, maybe it's me. Maybe it's just me.
Read the chat. Just need to change oath to one target you can see. No RR wounds is brutal for Marines. No reroll wounds is brutal for Marines. Yeah. I hope their units go down another 10%. Lewis, thank you for your comment. If they go another 10%, they're going to be a horde army.
Well, okay, Death Guard are already a horde army now, aren't they? They've basically become a horde army.
Well, they've got to be. The rules are bad. Rob says, I'll point out 36 strats in NID factions. Matt, I think it's more complicated than 9th. Yeah, 9th Codex had 30 strats, but 25 of them were garbage. And Rob says, unless you played Sisters, then use all 30. That's an interesting point from Matt, actually, because, there were a lot of strats that were just awful.
There was a lot of strats that were awful, but then they'd all have like a niche that they did something really random.
Yeah.
And so we both played Knights in 9th. And you had like the 4 that you were always going to use, like rotate ion shields. There was a thunder stomp strategy, something to do in combat.
Yeah, the like +1 to wound one.
Yeah, stuff like that. But then there was other like really niche ones that came in every so often. But half the time was, even as a Knights player that played X amount of games with them, I still didn't know half of them.
Yeah,
because you didn't take any, and you'd go, that would have actually been really useful at that moment in time.
There were a lot, but I get your point. There still are a lot of strats. I don't think they've quite simplified it to the level that they want. Right, anyway, so all those amazing models that you love, their unique rule, extremis level threat. Scared yet? Lets them single out a target for a certain destruction once per game and lasts across both your and your opponent's turn. Okay. Once per battle. Are you ready? You're gonna love this so much. It's amazing. It's amazing. Once per battle in your command phase, you can use this ability. If you do until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in your army with Oath of Moment ability makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment attack, you can re-roll the wound roll. It's like Oath of Moment.
Do you know what? Do you know why I'm so angry about this?
You only get it once.
Do you know why I'm so angry about this, right?
That's way more balanced.
No, because I play Blood Angels, right? And what my best unit at the moment is Death Company with jump packs. Went down in points, loving life. Mm-hmm. They already get an innate reroll to hit.
Well, there you go then.
So yeah, but I want the reroll to wound, and now I can only do it once instead of doing it all the time.
What I'm not clear about here is,
but does this detachment have to have those units in it?
Yeah, I mean, it says it gives you a great opportunity to get the most out of the shiny Terminator Stern Guard vets out alongside the Codex, as well as units of Blade Guard veterans and Vanguard veterans.
Yeah, that's.
Is that it? Is that the list? Is that everything that gets to benefit
Have
from
I
this
got?
detachment
Have
rule?
I got to put those in the list to unlock that detachment rule?
Oh no, it just says. To be fair, it just says each time a model from your army.
Yeah, but
So,
to
as long as you
do
can
that
take them in
detachment,
first company.
yeah, but to do that detachment, I don't know. I'm not impressed with it so far, personally.
Well, how about the Iron Resolve enchantment then, which gives characters the Feel No Pain 5+ ability, allows a model to extend its own boost to entire squad once per game.
That's good.
That's all right.
That's
That
very
experience
good.
keeps them cool under pressure.
But that I don't. Yeah, I don't. Why
That's
why
decent.
do Games Workshop write this rubbish? Keeps them cool under pressure. Because we're in the middle of a battlefield, lads. Like that. What I need is to be really cool under this exact.
Hey,
moment.
lads, I was feeling quite tense a second ago fighting this giant tyrannid, but
Yeah.
now I feel quite cool under pressure.
Yeah, watch this command
Imagine
effects try to eat
Yeah.
me, but my 5+ feel no pain is keeping me
Yeah.
nice and centered, lads.
Yeah. Brother Tyrone, I feel so chill now.
Dante, I'm okay over here, mate. I've got my no pressure enhancement that I've paid. The problem is with that, I have a strange feeling that that's going to be 25 to 30 points because that's a big thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Adeptus start as Terminator model only. The bearer has Feel No Pain 5+. Once per battle, after the bearer's unit is selected as a target of one or more attacks, the bearer can use his
Enhancement.
If it does, until the end of the phase, models in the bearer's unit have a Feel No Pain 5+.
That makes a term. So I can see that going into. Someone needs to correct me because I don't play Dark Angels, but do Deathwing Terminators have a Feel No Pain at the moment? Because I think that's the first one that springs to mind is Death Company Terminators. But Blobs of Terminators will be hard with that, with a 5+ Feel No Pain ability coming out of a Land Raider.
Yeah.
That's some tanky boys right there.
Lewis says, you lose the doctrines to unlock reroll wounds in the first company detachment.
Which is absolute garbage. I'd rather have the reroll hits and then the access to the other stratagems for the doctrines.
So you lose the doctrines. Ouch.
Yeah, and the same. Just look. If I just look at my Blood Angels list, I'd rather have +1 attack, +1 strength on every model for every charge than once per game I can reroll wounds against an oath target.
They do, but it's a 6+.
Yeah, so you're dropping them down to a 5+ once per game. That's tanky with 4 wounds apiece with the shields.
Yeah, tanky for a brick of 10. Definitely.
Tanky for a brick of 10, led by a Terminator coming out of a Land Raider. Drive that.
Now you're excited.
I don't collect Dark Angels.
Listen, you were just telling Georgia downstairs how you sell your models and get new armies, so this is your moment.
Admech are my new ones. They're going to be interesting. They're all
Legendary Fortitude, first company task force battle stratagem. When your opponent's charge phase, just after an enemy ends a charge move. Target 1, Adeptes, a start is Terminator, Blade Guard,
This is
Veteran,
worrying me.
Sternguard, Veteran Squad, or Vanguard Veteran Squad from your army. Within engagement range of that unit until end of turn, each time an attack is allocated to a model in a unit, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of the attack.
So,
Tanky?
no, but what's worrying me about this is that it's got named units. So when we looked above, and it was the fact that you've got this exterminus level threat, and it says about these 4 units, this looks like this detachment is based around those 4 units. Yeah. And yeah, like let's look again. Let's put a blob of 10 Terminators with storm shields at 4 wounds each, with a 5+ Feel No Pain once a game, and -1 damage when they get charged. Ouch! Like that's good.
Tanky.
But what's the rest of your army doing? If you've got to fill it with Sternguard veterans and Vanguard veterans.
Yeah. The remaining detachments can be used by Space Marines of any chapter, but play into traits commonly associated with the 6 first founding chapters who most closely followed the Codex Astartes. So if you want to mount a heavy static defense in the mode of the Imperial Fish, you are not obliged to paint your troops yellow.
Well, you were never obliged to paint your troops yellow.
You never had to.
You never had to, Games Workshop.
Likewise, the salamanders may be famous for, blah, 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 blah. So basically, don't worry, you can take them as however you want. What about this then? Firestorm Assault Force. The detachment rule, close range eradication, grants assault keyword to all weapons, letting units advance without losing their ability to shoot. Once they get close enough, that extra pip of strength puts many weapons over critical thresholds for damage. Ranged weapons equipped by Adeptus Astartes models in your army have assault, and each time an attack made with such a weapon targets unit within 12 +1 strength.
Mate,
That +1 strength is
+1 strength.
+1 strength is cheeky. Yeah, I was just about to say melters.
Yeah, put it on certain. Yeah, good. Like good, but is that enough to not take the Gladius Task Force? Is that enough to go? Do you know what? That's better than the Gladius Task Force at this moment. And
I really like the idea of strength 10 melters, but melter rifles.
I like the idea of the Flame Gauntlet guys.
Yeah, what are they coming at?
They're the aggressors,
Yeah,
but
the
with the
aggressors
Flame
with
Gauntlets. T6, like good Gravis, nice chunky boys.
While you're that close, you might want to crack a few heads. Crack it.
Oh my god, it's literally so painful sometimes listening to the way
We've
they
boosted melee weapons on your fightiest character with the war-tempted artifice enhancement. Why can't I say that word today?
Enhancement
provides. God, my brain, honestly.
Mate, both of us.
Who doesn't love power swords that hit as hard as a power fist?
Well, why not just take a power fist?
Say that every day. So it +3 strength. Yeah, +3 strength to weapons. I mean, that's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like yeah.
You're not complaining.
I'm not, mate. I don't know if but are you going to put? Is that an enhancement?
People are liking it in the chat. Rob and Matt like it. Like assault. People liking the assault on your
force.
entire army.
I think there'll be, and not to crush anyone's dreams, but I suspect there will be. People will take. It will go the same way as Deathwatch did, where they did those weird stratagems where you could make all your guns do certain things with the critical hits and stuff, and then they had to rein it back in pretty quickly because people were taking advantage of it. I can see that going that way with that as well.
You reckon?
Yeah, just predicting the future.
This detachment is also great for any chapter that likes to move quickly or smash vehicles in close combat. White Scars in particular get a lot of mileage from the assault ability on Outriders, Invader ATVs, letting them...
Outriders, Matt.
Outriders,
Matt.
Outriders. Letting them... It's so loud in these headphones.
Mate, it's so loud and it's so high pitched.
Literally goes to the middle of my brain. Letting them position for future charges without losing vital firepower, while Iron Hands armies packing plenty of dreadnoughts can reap the benefit of boosted strength even while locked in close combat.
Yeah, let's be fair.
Guns never tire.
Being able to move and shoot is excellent. Like, it is
Don't
great.
they have that anyway in a doctrine?
Yeah, one of the doctrines
Isn't
you can
that
do
just
that.
assault doctrine?
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, one of them is you can move and shoot.
You can move and shoot, but you're not allowed that. Then you've got the good old Gladius
Task Force.
returning to the fold with the same.
Is there any comments? Because we've seen that chat seems to be going off. To be fair,
people like the detachment. This one has my vote. Assault on your army. Matt, don't do it. What to buy in the assault riders? Do it,
Matt. Just Outriders and ATVs, baby. Just go White Scars, baby.
Yeah, do it. Returning to the fold with the same enhancement, stratagems, and combat doctrine detachments ability you know and love, the Gladius Task Force remains an adaptable take-all-corners army which supports any kind of unit. The Armour of Contempt stratagem is now found across all 7 Space Marine detachments.
Obviously.
7.
They got 7 detachments.
7 detachments.
Mate, that's even more stratagems, baby.
I'm worried.
I'm worried that I'm
That
never...
is a lot of detachments.
I think what they're doing,
7.
though... But the problem is that they've got to do... 7. Have we got a 7? I think the problem that they've got is that they're trying to all combine it in one book. So when you watch the guy's video at the top, he says like, all of them are in this book, aren't they? All the Blood Angels, Space Wolves.
Yeah.
So they've all got to be a detachment on their own anyway. Then you've got to create these other detachments that are suiting these other armies. So they're trying to lump like Salamanders and White Scars kind of in together with this assault one.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you, yeah. So that's going to be like White Scar Salamanders.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to...
This is just like your vanilla.
Yeah, this is your blueberries, isn't
Probably
it?
your Ultra Boys, yeah. So Armour of Contempt's just going to be... Armour of Contempt hasn't changed, has it? Shoot, blah, blah, blah.
No, Armour
exactly
of Contempt is Armour of Contempt. And it's still a battle tactic, which is good and bad. Because of the data slate changes on it as well.
Yeah, 7's a lot. I guess that reinforces the point we're making about...
stratagems and
strategy
trying to make this
like,
game
oh my
simpler.
God, yeah, we're going to simplify it by making 7 different versions.
Well,
I guess they have that anyway. Like,
but the thing that kind of annoys me about it, and are I still here? 1 second. So that is the data cards for Space Marines, right? Look how thick that is, right? So you've probably spent what 15 quid on that, 20 quid.
Yeah, do you know what really annoys me? The same amount as my Knights one, which was like 10 cards, 15 cards.
So, but that's useless.
No, it's a weapon.
Well, it is a weapon. It's a brick. You can build houses out. I think they're probably cheaper than the bricks I use at work as well.
I reckon I could cause real damage to someone.
But this is a point, and sorry to be a bit anti-G dubs at this moment in time. I know that's the cool thing to do. But so they gave you Tyranids cards when the index was released.
Yeah.
They've then released a codex, which makes those cards irrelevant because they've changed it. They've then printed a load of stuff in the codex that's now also irrelevant.
Yeah. Different points. And then they've released some more data cards for you. So you've been done like 4 times. And I think this is why people have a problem. So this is exactly what's going to happen with Space Marines is we've already bought that chunky pack. We're then going to buy the codex, which will probably be more expensive because it's bigger. Possibly, yeah. I mean, if it's got 7 detachments in it,
it's going to be
a lot bigger than the NID book.
And then we're going to then do the cards again. Then they're going to errata the points again. And it's all going to be.
They should
just do it all on the app.
They should do it on the app, but I don't know.
Do it on the app.
I really like buying, but I like the physical book.
And this is the problem with this hobby.
Be on the app, but it should definitely also be. But he's on an app and it updates instantly on the app.
Not if you don't own the codex. So now if you go on the app, I can't access all the Tyranids rules because I don't have the codex. So you've probably got a code in that codex now.
Yeah, no, I've done it. Yeah, I've added it. Yeah.
But how does that work for me when I want to know what your army does?
Well, you have to buy a book.
I'm not buying book. Why did you go so northern then? You have to buy a book.
You have to buy a book, lad. You have to just put your hand in your pocket.
You're Yorkshire, aren't you? Like you don't want to put your hand in your pocket, though, do you?
Well, I live down here now, so I do whatever.
Well, live by my own rules.
Change. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I buy a book every few months now.
Just for the loads.
I think they should have a subscription model that you sign up for, as they do at the moment, and that subscription model
gives you access to everything.
Gets you access to the rules, and if you're a particular enthusiast and you want to read the lore or whatever, then you buy the book. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, let's be fair. We're not in this hobby. No one's in this hobby because they're adverse to spending money, are they? Let's be honest.
It's the wrong hobby. Yeah. There is a Russian site which shall not be named that updates to 10. Well, I hope so.
No,
they're allowed to say it.
He's already coming back.
Is he?
Yeah, he's already coming back. I've seen the homepage. It says I will be back soon.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's good because it's kind of like I quite like capitalism in a way because I know it's not really. It's kind of not a great example because this guy's just doing it like we're not buying a service from him. But GW are going to struggle to shut that down. So if he just innovates and does that, then I think they have to get to a point where they can offer the same thing, right?
He's been going since 7th or 8th, chat.
Yeah, and
he's been going.
They try to shut him down. I think.
Well, he's Russian, isn't he? So zero fucks given. Very good, very nice. Yeah. So come on, sorry. So Gladius armor.
No, that's it. Yeah, so armor attempt. Yeah. But don't worry. We'll be taking a look at more of the detachments available in Codex Space Marines later. So keep your auspexes trained on. Welcome to Auspex. Trained on the Warhammer community for the strategy focus 40k channel.
Yeah, but his strategy's awful. Sorry.
Oh, I love him. I think he's awesome.
Mate, let's get him on.
No.
No? No? Get him phoned in.
No way.
Oh God.
So what's your kind of overall feeling after seeing the first reveal?
Mate, and I think I don't want to go on a rant about it like you did with Knights last week. But I don't think Oath of Moment needed changing personally. I genuinely don't. Once you took Desolation Marines out the game,
I don't know. I think Liam, that Oath of Moment is.
What do the chat think?
I think the lads were talking about it last week, weren't they? About Oath of Moment. It came up, and Stuart were ranting about it. I think. Yeah, but it is re-rolling all hits and all wounds for every model
against one unit, though.
Yeah, but it's
different for a Knights player.
It's so it allows you to just every single turn absolutely delete the thing. No, Luke, I won't go in on him. I think he's superb. Just leave him alone.
The old specs alone.
Leave the strategy first.
Leave Brittany alone.
I'm worried about Brittany. Let's not get on to Brittany, Christ. Yeah, I think Oath of Moment's too strong. But listen, you've still got your reroll hits.
Or it should have been,
And
instead of that, it should have been reroll ones to hit and to wound, rather than reroll everything.
Yeah, rerolling one, but then most of the time you're hitting on threes anyway, aren't you? So like, yeah. It's still good. Come on, rerolling all your hits is still good. You've got a detachment in here which is increasing your strength of your weapons. So like, rerolling wounds maybe isn't as.
I think there's definitely play in that.
That's pretty tasty.
That's pretty. Like that. Well, once you get within 12
it's got to be an assault weapon though, actually.
No, because it gives all your. Doesn't it give everything assault anyway?
Close range. Assault keyword. All weapons.
So all your weapons within 12 have add 1 strength to their characteristic. So I'm looking at like Inferno pistols and stuff like that because they've only got 6-inch range anyway. So they're always going to be +1 strength.
The chat says, Matt, I don't enjoy Earth of Moment. It takes too long.
Who? Matt? Matt's a Space Marine player, Matt. Jesus Christ.
Do you know what Matt is? He's a good, honest man.
He's not, mate. His Outrider shenanigans have proved that he's not. Playing me with his Outriders with rapid fire 2 and devastating wounds. It's like it was just a point of like, what can I put on these weapons to make them unbelievable? And Liam never checks rules, so no one cares, does he? Liam just takes it as it is. And I did. And I lost my Hellblasters because of it. I'm not bitter.
What you don't know is he's a playtester.
Oh, is Matt a playtester? Yeah. I didn't realise.
What you don't know about that is he's a playtester and he just didn't want to upset you by letting you know you were playtesting, so he just
just smashed the granny out of me.
Yeah, knowing that these new Outriders, that's what they're going to have.
Matt, to be fair, I think there's some Outrider viability now, mate. I think you need to get playtesting that, son.
Rob says strength 5 hand flamers, yeah. I don't think it's... I mean, listen, we'll see.
Let's be fair.
We'll see as the release of the rest of the rules.
With Space Marines, there's always play in Space Marines.
There's always play in Space Marines.
There's always play in Space Marines because GW, you will never let them fall to the point where there isn't play. No, they've got so many units that something will be viable.
You do say that, but at the back end of 9th, they were absolutely shit.
Some of them were.
Like, they just... there was a bit where they were just like...
Yeah, but do you not remember when Deathwing Terminators were absolutely broken in 9th? And people were dropping 30 of them and you just couldn't kill them.
Yeah, but there was a long period where they were like, yeah. The win rate was like 30% or something.
Oh, really?
Anyway, look, I think this has left you excited, hungry for more. You can't wait to see the next update and reveal. And I
just want to see what they're going to do for Blood Angels, what more they give me for Blood Angels. Hopefully they don't just copy and paste what was already in the index into the codexes. Hopefully they update it slightly. I'd like them to change it from +1 strength to +1 AP on my Blood Angels. +1 attack, +1 AP.
Maybe next week we'll have that news for you. We'll be able to have a look. Matt says Liam's been pulling his hair out.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Cool story, bro.
Shots fired.
Oh, mate, don't.
Really?
Well, I was...
blow.
I know, mate. He's very mean to me, is Matt.
He's been very mean there.
I know.
There we go. Back to me and you.
There's 2 good-looking chaps on this stream, though, isn't there, really?
Right there. Right there.
Behind my massive nut. I'm going the wrong way.
Behind your head. Thanks for... I think that sums up our Marines and Meta Monday discussion.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, for calling in as well. It's always good to hear another voice on this as well, rather than...
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, appreciate it. Now we've got the tech for it. Anybody that ever wants to join in and call us and chat on the show, you're super, super welcome to.
And yeah, like we said as well, guys, next week we're going to have a discussion around... So we do Meta Monday again. Hopefully there'll be some more results in. And then we'll have a discussion around mental health and good points of this hobby, bad points of this hobby. And like we said...
What the line is between, this is really good for my mental health, and like, oh my God.
Oh my God, I've got no money
obsessed.
left.
I've spent all money, it's really stressful. My wife hates it.
I've filled every room in the house with plastic.
I've turned the entire room into a studio.
But the best...
And the other room's a fucking games workshop.
Just to give people a brief tour of this, right? I come round about half an hour early before we do these podcasts. And we do this every week, and I've been on the stream quite a lot as well. So I've met Paul's wife, G, quite a lot. And it's funny because the first time I came here, the dining room table was covered in Warhammer. There was Warhammer in front of the TV, which is in a separate room. There's then Paul's studio, which is all Warhammer. And then there's a spare room that's all full of Warhammer as well. And it's like, I think that the stuff off the dining room table's gone, but...
Well, there's a Def Leaper and a...
Yeah, there's still stuff down there.
It's gone too far.
It hasn't, though. And this is the problem with this hobby. It hasn't... When does it ever go too far?
Have you seen the third bedroom?
No, I haven't.
It's all fine. We'll get to talk about it next week. We think it's a fun...
Yeah. And guys,
and honest
anyone
chat.
that's in the chat, anyone that watches this afterwards, drop me or Paul a message if you want to have a chat with us about a story you want to share. But also, this is a community. We're here for any of you guys. If you want to chat about anything, either of us are here.
Yeah, defo.
Obviously, all confidential. Nothing gets shared on the stream unless you want it to. But definitely just drop us a chat. We're here. We're both at the club tomorrow as well.
I'm playing Rob.
Good luck.
Rob, I'll be there about 7 o'clock.
Mate, I'm playing 4 massive demons. So that's probably not going to go well for me either.
Who are you playing? Luke?
Steve. He's got Scarbrand, Shalaxi, Be'lakor, and Kairos Fateweaver.
Westlife. Call him Westlife. What's the 4-man
E17.
boy band? E17.
Sweet E17
He's got the
Chaos
E17.
Demons.
He's got the E17 list.
Oh, God. But yeah. Very good, very nice. But we are at the club tomorrow.
Yeah.
Grab us if you want to chat with anything.
Nice one. Thanks for joining us in the chat. We appreciate
Cheers,
you all.
guys.
Hope you have a
Thank you
lovely
so
evening.
much.